Hi there, Dr. Wilson, back with another concept for you, and today is about family. So I want to talk to you a little bit about it. About this time in the office, you've seen a lot of different things. Depending on the time you come, depends on the craziness of our family practice. So I want you to understand this. Number one, we reward people who their families come in together, and so you talk to the front desk about that. They can talk to you about our family plans. Many of you have already asked, some of you have not. So we always like to send out a digital reminder just to say, hey, listen, there's a way that your whole family can be under care. Don't leave all this wonderfulness just to one person in the family. So here's a couple things. If you're the adult under care and you've been wanting your kids to get checked, please just know that this video invites you to a VIP checkup. Just talk to the front desk. They can make that happen for you. That's where we're going to do that scan, look at the level of stress in your child's spine, and then make the kind of care recommendation that they would need at that moment in time. And then we go about from there, and they can talk to you about how those finances work. If your child's the patient and you're getting these emails and you've been wanting to do it, I just didn't know how to do it. I just thought maybe you were only a pediatric practice. There's kids running everywhere. Well, we do take care of the people who bring them. We do love you as well. We know you to be sane, and so in many cases that's the process as well. And so again, feel free to stop in and talk to the front desk about a VIP package. One thing I want to say about pediatric care is that we really do specialize in understanding what pediatrics are. All the doctors here are amazing, and many of you have experienced that. We all have trained extremely hard on exactly how to work with PDs. And I want you to understand there is a difference. There is a difference in the way you imprint a child's spine. And I want to give you an example. In a child's spine, you have what's called the sympathetic areas, the parasympathetic areas, and these two have to coordinate together. And when they coordinate together, when one's driven, so for example, the sympathetic, like we see a lot of the sensory ADD kids, that sympathetic is driven way out of range. And what we have to do is balance that spine, which means we have to look in some primary areas. If you are going to someone like us who understands that, we're going to drive those parasympathetic areas back up, create the balance. There's actually been some cases where people have not gone to the right ones, and they've gone and said, oh, it didn't help my kid. In fact, it made it worse. And what happened is that person started, and I hate to say this, but knocking down high spots, and they started driving sympathetics versus parasympathetics. And there's a time we need to do that, just not in those cases. What makes us unique about this is we can see the interference, we measure the interference along the way, and then we can see the outcomes as we go. Many of you have experienced this, but I just want to give you the confidence that if you hadn't had a chance to get your child checked and find out if we can help them or anything, just put them on the path to wellness. Remember, I've said this a couple times now, but I want you to share this again. The greatest thing we can do is never let something show up. Now, crisis, traumas, emergencies are going to happen. We get that. But if we can set your kids on a path to wellness, listen, I've raised my kids in it. At the time of this recording, they're 24, 21, 18, 16, and 14. We've literally been able to raise a generation drug-free. Why? Because they've been kept their spines well adjusted, so their bodies produce all the chemistry their bodies need, and their immune systems are strong. And because of all that, guess what? We haven't had a lot of missed days of school. In fact, we've had extremely few missed days of school. We've had a few traumas we've had to deal with along the way, and we've had to deal with those as we had to. But for the most part, their wellness is off the charts. Their performance is off the charts. Their scores are off the charts. Their grades are off the charts. And it wasn't because genetic luck. It wasn't. I was a very sick kid, a very, very sick kid. I had multiple sets of tubes. Their mother was a very sick child, had multiple sets of tubes. We were very sick children on lots of drugs, lots of antibiotics. It wasn't they got the lucky gene. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, here they just got lucky. No. They've been adjusted their whole life, so don't leave them to the wayside, right? There's an old famous quote, and I'll leave you with this. It's a little punch in the gut, but here's the thing. I'll never forget it. An instructor once put his last slide up of our last class of our pediatric class, and it said this. He said, you need to teach your parents not to do this. It says, go ahead, leave your kids at home so they can suffer from the same problems you suffered from your whole life. Now again, that hit me, that impacted me, and so we always want to take a chance to invite you in, okay? It's not a guilt trip. It's just the truth. And I want to be able to share the truth with you, so we take a little bit more time on this one just to share this with you. I'm passionate about this, as you can see. I've watched so many thousands of lives changed over the years. I don't want you to be left out. We'll see you in the office, or we'll see you in the next video.